So, a lot of people are talking and making fun about the fact that the UK government's Competition and Marketing Authority, or CMA for short, may now know the rough estimated year release for the much anticipated Elder Scrolls 6, the sequel to Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Of course, the date is redacted and snipped out for the public's eye due to the sensitive nature of such things within the game development industry. While a lot of news sources also picked up on this fun fact, what UESP and others didn't do was to take a much closer analysis of the legal document submitted to the CMA by Microsoft that includes Microsoft hinting that the Elder Scrolls 6, when released, may be Xbox and PC exclusive, which may be upsetting news for those of you who are exclusively on PlayStation. The complete PDF of this document is linked in the video description below for you to read through if you guys want to check it out. But my team and I on this channel, we read the entire thing, 110 pages, so you don't have to. Now, to give you guys the context of this Microsoft document submission, it's basically Microsoft's argument for their acquisition of Activision Blizzard to be legally recognized by the Competition and Marketing Authority, yet another legal dispute as part of the long-running Sony and Microsoft drama that's been unfolding even more since early October worldwide. Microsoft in this document is arguing that the acquisition of Activision isn't some sort of monopoly gain or a significant threat even to Sony's slice of the pie in the market, with three big major points. Number 1. Activision Blizzard is a way for Microsoft to try to break into the mobile market like Diablo Immortal, as the mobile gaming market has a much more significant share of the market than console or PC. The key word here is they're trying to break into it, not cement some sort of hold on it. Number 2, the acquisition of Activision Blizzard will actually be really good for the overall market, potentially including Sony in terms of competition, because specifically, as stated in this argument, Sony is the most dominant in the console market and has been for the past 20 years or so, double that of Xbox according to Microsoft. Lastly, number 3, it wouldn't make sense for Microsoft to make big IPs like Call of Duty, PC, or Xbox exclusive because, well, they'd miss out on that sweet PlayStation cash, yo. And that statements made in public by their top guys, along with a very public 10-year contract offered to Sony for Call of Duty, makes this really clear. Microsoft also pointed to Amazon's Luna Proton, Steam on Chromebook, Linux-based devices, and other markets to reinforce this last point. Sony's responses have of course been to dispute these points with arguments of their own, accompanied by even rumors that Sony blames Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard as a big factor in raising their prices on the PS5. Of course, there's a lot more drama with Microsoft returning fire by accusing Sony of sabotaging Game Pass and so on, but that'll be something for a different video down the line maybe. In this document though, Microsoft hones in on and greatly emphasizes the argument that taking a large-sized IP like Call of Duty away from PlayStation would only hurt Activision's revenue as a significant portion of the EMEA regions. If you guys don't know what EMEA means, it's Europe, Middle East, and Africa, monthly active users playing Call of Duty on the PlayStation. Quote, a hypothetical foreclosure strategy would involve putting at risk a significant portion of Activision's revenues. The consequences would be even more severe in the EMEA region, where redacted percentage of Call of Duty's total MAUs, redacted percentage of console MAUs, are on PlayStation. This would be a commercially irrational strategy, in particular in circumstances where Microsoft could not conceivably expect to foreclose Sony from the market. Microsoft also used the acquisition of ZeniMax Media recently in its defense, noting how every title that was on PlayStation at the time of Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax is still available on PlayStation. They noted future titles like Redfall and Starfield would be Xbox and PC exclusive, but those are brand new IPs and thus would not affect Sony's player base and revenue, as they have uncertain audiences. There's this very, in my opinion, reductive and simple graph on the CMA document that shows what they mean by uncertain audiences, or even the size of an audience or popularity of an IP in relation to making a title exclusive. Apparently, Psychonauts 2 and Fallout 76, assumingly including the Fallout franchise and the Elder Scrolls series, is for niche audiences or a small community, while the new IP such as Starfield and Redfall are new IPs and are for uncertain audience sizes, whereas Call of Duty, which the document actually equates to Minecraft in terms of audience popularity, is for the mass market audience type. Microsoft further mentioned that The Elder Scrolls is a mid-sized game in terms of audience, and that The Elder Scrolls in particular hasn't had an installment since 2011. I find this part really funny because, what about The Elder Scrolls Online? Ripperino pepperino to my ESO audience. But again, this document and this point that's been bolded to constitute their whole summary is Microsoft trying to make themselves look as impartial as possible to the incentive of pursuing some sort of video game monopoly and pushing Sony out. So Microsoft saying, hey, we haven't done anything for the Elder Scrolls since Skyrim, but at the same time, we haven't pulled it from PlayStation, is an indication of our future behavior for larger IPs like Call of Duty. So in the same document, they're not saying, hey, yeah, we'll keep this mid-sized franchise on both PlayStation and Xbox and PC, because the point of the document is about the acquisition of Activision Blizzard and the big IPs, not the Elder Scrolls. This is Microsoft's way of saying, hey, if we make the Elder Scrolls 6 PC and Xbox exclusive, you guys at Sony don't really have too much room to complain, because we're making the bigger IPs and the games actually in more demand, inclusive rather than exclusive, as opposed to you guys. But for our new IPs and future projects, which we acquired through ZeniMax Media or wherever else, we don't know the scope of the popularity yet, or we think it's just not as big as Minecraft or Call of Duty, so it's fine for us to go exclusive if we want to. So there's definitely a big possibility just from this statement alone. In order to drive more traffic to Game Pass and Xbox purchases, Microsoft is more than willing to go exclusive on games that quote-unquote niche but hardcore communities rally around, including Elder Scrolls 6. Hilariously enough, Microsoft even admits on the document that Sony's first-party games are actually of better quality and numbers than the Xbox first-party games, because that's how bad they want this acquisition to go through. For example, Sony has over 280 exclusive titles on PlayStation in the year 2021, according to the document, which is apparently 5 times as many Xbox had on their console platform in 2021. So yeah, talk about, talking shit about yourself to get something you want. This is a bit of a weird document, but since the video game industry is still sort of a new frontier in terms of legal vulnerabilities and claims, with terms like mid-sized being a bit undeterminable or even legally binding, to be honest with you guys, after I talked to some people in corporate finance who are familiar with mergers and acquisitions like this, the arguments that Microsoft has brought forth in this document overall are still undoubtedly stronger than what Sony has brought to the table in their initial issues submitted to the CMA. This legal war over Activision Blizzard and the future of platforming certain IPs, including the Elder Scrolls 6, is far from over, as this publication of the CMA document is but one single battle in one single country. Other countries and systems in them are still considering the ramifications of the Activision Blizzard buyout from Microsoft, including the United States Federal Trade Commission eyeing a potential antitrust lawsuit, Serbia actually just today approving Microsoft's purchase following Brazil and Saudi Arabia's approval. What do you guys think? Do you think the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard will be overall healthy for gamers? Do you agree with Microsoft's assessment that the Elder Scrolls franchise is a mid-sized game? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely do subscribe to the channel to keep up with more stuff like this, or Elder Scrolls Online content, and some other fun stuff in the future. Let me know what you guys think will happen with this case, and yeah, see you guys soon. Stay safe, have fun, and see you next time.